Look in the mirror. The person staring back isn't you anymore. You aren't Officer Davis. You are Rico, a mid-level trafficker with a rap sheet 10 pages long. You eat with killers. You sleep with a loaded gun under your pillow. And you are the only thing standing between them and freedom. Going undercover isn't like the movies. There are no second takes. It's a 24/7 performance on the world's most dangerous stage. You have to be smarter than them, faster than them, and more ruthless than them, all while wearing a wire taped to your chest. The hardest part isn't getting in. It's remembering who you are when it's time to get out. Today, you are living the lie. One slip equals death. Welcome to the vault. You're staring at a photograph of someone who no longer exists. That's you 3 months ago. Before the haircut, the accent training, the complete erasure of everything that made you recognizable. Now, you're someone else entirely, and one mistake will get you killed. The transformation started in a windowless room in Quantico. Your handler, a man named Torres with 20 years of undercover ops behind him, slides a manila folder across the table. Inside is your new life. Michael Reeves, 32, originally from Cleveland, moved to Miami after a stint in county jail for assault. Small-time drug dealer working his way up. The legend, they call it. Your fake history needs to be airtight because the people you're about to meet will check everything. You spend 6 weeks becoming Michael, memorizing street names from a Cleveland neighborhood you've never visited, learning the layout of a Miami apartment you'll never live in. They teach you how Michael walks, slightly favoring his left leg from a bar fight in 2019, how he orders coffee, black with 2 sugars, his mother's maiden name, the name of his first dog. Every detail matters because these aren't amateurs you're infiltrating. The Sinaloa cartel's Miami operation moves $40 million in product monthly. Your job is to get inside their distribution network, identify the key players, and help the DEA build a RICO case that'll take down the entire southeastern corridor. Simple, right? Except the last agent who tried this was found in pieces scattered across 3 counties. Torres makes you practice your backstory until you dream in Michael's voice. What high school did you go to? Garfield Heights. What year? Junior year was 2007, same year the gym caught fire during homecoming. Who was your cellmate in county? Big guy named Ricky Pacheco, did 2 years for armed robbery, got out 6 months before you. These aren't just facts, they're memories now. You need to believe them so completely that when someone asks about Ricky at 3 in the morning after you've been awake for 36 hours, the answer comes automatically. The wire goes on for the first time on a Tuesday. It's smaller than you expected, pressed against your chest beneath a faded Marlins t-shirt. The tech who attaches it has done this hundreds of times, but his hands shake slightly. That doesn't exactly inspire confidence. The device records everything within 20 feet and transmits to a surveillance van that'll stay within a half-mile radius. Theoretically. In practice, you'll be in rooms where they check for wires, in cars that drive through signal dead zones, in situations where the van can't follow without blowing your cover. Your first meet is at a body shop in Hialeah. The contact is Diego Ruiz, a mid-level distributor who needs someone to handle pickups in Broward County. You've bought from him twice before, small amounts to establish credibility. Today, he's testing whether you're ready for real work. You walk in knowing 8 different ways this goes wrong. He has someone search you, professional and thorough, hands running along your ribs where the wire sits silent. Your heart hammers so hard you're certain he can feel it, but the device is designed to be undetectable. You hope the engineers knew what they were doing. Diego talks while a mechanic torches a stolen BMW in the corner. The noise provides cover, makes recording difficult. Smart. He explains the job like he's describing a pizza delivery route. Simple pickup, simple drop-off, $5,000 for 3 hours of work. You know it's a test. They're watching to see if you're reliable, if you're stupid enough to skim product, if you run to the cops the moment things get serious. What Diego doesn't know is that you are the cops, But standing in that garage, breathing in burnt paint and motor oil while he explains how they deal with people who steal from them, that distinction feels dangerously thin. You take the job because refusing would be suspicious. Because Michael Reeves needs money and doesn't ask questions. Because you're in too deep to back out now. That night, you lie awake in a motel room that smells like cigarettes and bleach, listening to the recording of the meeting. Your voice sounds wrong, too steady, like you're reading lines. Torres says that's normal, that you'll settle into the role. But you're starting to understand something they didn't mention in training. The real danger isn't getting caught, it's forgetting which person is real. The you who took an oath to uphold the law. Or Michael, who's about to help move 30 kilos of cocaine across state lines. You run the first pickup on Thursday. Everything goes smooth until you notice the black Suburban that's been behind you for the last 6 miles. You don't panic. Panicking gets you killed. You maintain speed, signal properly, keep both hands visible on the wheel. The Suburban stays 3 car lengths back, matching every turn. Professional tail or paranoid imagination? After 18 months undercover, you've lost the ability to tell the difference. Your phone buzzes. Diego. You good? Yeah, why wouldn't I be? Just checking. First run makes people nervous. He hangs up before you can respond. Was that reassurance or a test? You'll spend the next 6 hours replaying the conversation, analyzing every word for hidden meaning. This is what the job does. It turns every interaction into a puzzle with lethal consequences. The Suburban disappears at a red light. You complete the delivery without incident. Hand off the product to a guy named Flacco, who counts out 5,000 in hundreds without saying a word. Easy money. Except your hands won't stop shaking for the next 2 hours. 3 months in, you've done 11 runs. Diego trusts you enough to introduce you to his supplier, a guy everyone calls El Jefe, who operates out of a strip club in Doral. The meeting happens at 2 in the morning, after the dancers have gone home and the only people left are the ones who matter. El Jefe is 50, maybe older, with the kind of face that's seen too much to be impressed by anything. He asks about your family. You tell him about Michael's fictional sister in Tampa, the one struggling with 2 kids and a worthless ex-husband. You've told this story so many times it feels like memory. You can picture her apartment, describe her kids' names, explain why you send her money every month. Family is everything, El Jefe says, nodding. That's why we're careful who we work with. He likes you. You can tell by the way he pours you a drink himself. Expensive scotch from a bottle with a label you don't recognize. You're drinking with a man responsible for at least 8 murders that the DEA knows about. Probably double that in reality. And he's treating you like a nephew. Torres warned you about this. The targets become human. They have kids, tell jokes, remember your birthday. It's easier when they're monsters. El Jefe isn't a monster. He's just a businessman who happens to trade in human misery, and somehow that's worse. You start having dreams where you can't remember which name is real. You wake up in the motel at 4 in the morning, momentarily unsure if you're supposed to meet Torres or Diego. Your real girlfriend left you 6 months ago because you couldn't explain where you were or why you flinched every time a car backfired. Michael doesn't have a girlfriend. Michael has commitment issues stemming from his father abandoning the family when he was 12. The wire captures everything. Diego talking about his daughter's quinceañera. Flacco showing you pictures of his new truck. El Jefe explaining his philosophy on loyalty, while Frank Sinatra plays in the background. You're building a case that'll put 20 people away for decades. People who trust you. People who'd take a bullet for Michael. The operation peaks on a Tuesday, 9 months in. Major shipment coming through, enough product to justify a takedown. You're in the warehouse when the doors crash open and DEA agents flood in with rifles raised. You're on the ground with everyone else, face pressed to concrete, playing the role until the last possible second. Diego looks at you as they're hauling him away. Not angry, confused, like he's trying to figure out which piece of the puzzle didn't fit. You want to say something, apologize maybe, but Michael wouldn't do that. So you keep your mouth shut and let them drag you out with the others, maintaining cover until you're in a separate van, headed to a different facility. Torres meets you at the debrief, calls it a major success. 43 arrests, 3 tons of cocaine seized, the dismantling of a distribution network that operated across 5 states. You're getting a commendation, maybe a promotion. You sit in the debriefing room, drinking terrible coffee, while they ask questions about every detail. When did you first meet Diego? What did El Jefe say about his suppliers? Can you identify the man in photograph 17? You answer everything mechanically, professional, detached. But that night, alone in a different motel room, you catch yourself thinking about Diego's daughter's quinceañera, an event that'll happen without him now. You remember it's not a real memory. You were never actually invited. You don't know which part bothers you more, that you betrayed people who trusted you, or that some part of you misses being Michael, the guy with the simple life and uncomplicated loyalties, the guy who didn't have to remember which version of himself was supposed to be real. They give you a new identity after the operation wraps. New name, new city, new life. Standard procedure for deep cover agents whose faces are now known to cartel associates still walking free. You spend 3 weeks in a safe house learning how to be someone else again, except this time there's no mission objective, just existence. Your real name feels foreign now, like wearing someone else's clothes. You practice saying it in the mirror, trying to remember the person who first spoke those syllables. That version of you believed in clear lines between right and wrong, thought justice was simple math. Add up the evidence, subtract the criminals, solve for a safer world. Michael understood something that version of you didn't. The world isn't divided into good people and bad people. It's full of people making impossible choices with incomplete information, trying to protect the things they love in the only ways they know how. Diego wasn't evil. He was a father trying to provide. El Jefe wasn't a monster. He was a businessman operating in the only economy his circumstances allowed. You did your job. You did it well. 43 people are in prison because you were convincing enough to earn their trust and betray it. The DEA considers the operation a massive success. Your personnel file now contains words like exemplary and decorated, but success tastes different than you expected. Hollow maybe. Like winning a game where you're not entirely sure you understood the rules. Torres calls once a month to check in. He asks the required questions about adjustment and mental health, then tells you it gets easier. You're not sure you want it to. The moment this feels easy is the moment you've lost something essential. You think about Diego sometimes, wonder if his daughter had her quinceañera, wonder if she understands why her father missed it, or if she just knows he's gone. You'll never find out. Michael's gone too, erased as thoroughly as your original identity. 3 identities now, the person you were, the person you pretended to be, and whoever you're becoming in the aftermath. None of them feel completely real. Maybe that's the actual cost of this work. Not the danger or the isolation, but the permanent uncertainty about which version of yourself is authentic. You took an oath to uphold the law, became someone who broke it, and now exists somewhere in between. A ghost haunting your own life. The commendation sits in a drawer somewhere. You've never looked at it. Some achievements don't deserve celebration. They just deserve to be survived.